bruh. Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head.
Now, it's no secret that the Acolyte is hot garbage. Most fans seem to be on a pretty united front that this is up there as one of the shittest pieces of Star Wars content ever created. With bland characters, law-breaking writing, and dogshit dialogue, it's got a bit of everything to piss off what's left of the Star Wars fanbase. Up to this point, things have been pretty controversial. Fire in space, witches who can give birth to twins through the power of the thread, characters' motivations flipping on a dime, Ki-Adi-Mundi being alive when Ki-Adi-Mundi shouldn't be alive. From the first scene of the whole show, things looked bleak. With the sheer amount of discourse surrounding this show circulating on the net, I'm sure you've probably heard enough about what's come before, so I'm only going to focus on the latest episode, episode 5, because for some reason, most people seem to be in agreement that it's the best so far. The best of a bad bunch nonetheless, but still the best we've gotten. In my opinion though, it's just as dumb as the rest. So let's get into it. Before we begin, it's probably worth giving some context as to where we are in this incredible story. To keep it short, a bunch of Jedi accompanied by our protagonist Osha have arrived on a planet called Kofar to intercept the assassin May before she kills a Wookiee Jedi by the name of Kelnaka. There's been lots of walking and talking, and walking and talking. May's character motivation did a complete 180.
What are you doing?
What I'm going to do is surrender myself to Kelnaka, and then turn myself into the Jedi.
Jackie and Osha had a really touching moment.
We're not defined by what we lose. We're defined by what we survive.
And most importantly, our heroes came across some gigantic moth bugs with some really subtle foreshadowing.
It went straight for the saber.
It's attracted to light.
As the Jedi are about to intercept May, she finds that Kelnaka has already been killed. Before the Jedi get to her, they are rudely interrupted by the Master, who yeets Osha to the side and sends the rest of the Jedi flying. And that's where this episode picks up. Osha awakens to the sound of a huge battle, and that's where things start to get fun. The fight choreography within this episode seems to be a collective point of praise. The internet is almost in total agreement that the fights are some of the best we've seen in years, which is probably true, but that isn't really saying much. The showrunner, Leslie Headland, set out with the goal of surpassing the infamous Duel of the Fates battle in The Phantom Menace, and a lot of people seem to think she was successful. Now don't get me wrong, watching these scenes play out in full speed, they do look pretty decent, but if we take our time and pay attention to what is actually going on, things start to unravel. From the get-go, the Master is fighting what appears to be about 5 Jedi. We've got Yord, Not Plo Koon, and I'm going to call the others Blue, Big Bloke, and Receding Hairline. We know from the previous episode there was 8 Jedi in total, and Osha wakes up to find one already dead. So where are Sol and Jackie? We see the Master dueling with a couple Jedi, whilst the others casually approach from the side. Not Plo Koon goes for a swing, gets deflected, then kinda just stands there. Receding Hairline then goes for a swing, gets blocked, and for some reason charges lightsaber overhead right past the Master. Where are you going, mate? Maybe he decided to catch up with Not Plo Koon off screen. Then the absolute goat Yord comes in with a big swing, misses, turns around to face the Master who has his back to him, and just waits. Any danger of maybe stabbing him? Or is that against the rules? If that's actually the reason half these Jedi don't strike when his back is turned, then that is fucking dumb. Keep in mind that whilst this is going on, Not Plo Koon and Receding Hairline are still just having a chat to the right of the screen. We cut back to May, who is really enjoying this battle. I mean, look at that acting. The big bloke then comes in with a couple of necessary lightsaber spins, which of course results in him getting a swift kick to the abdomen for his bullshit. Yord comes in, misses again, and then also cops a swift kick, putting him out of action until he needs to conveniently reappear. Meanwhile, Not Plo Koon over here decides it's finally time to get back involved and gets stabbed in the back. Once again, Osha is just a mess of emotions watching this unfold. And then we have probably the most infamous clip of the episode. It's lucky that the big bloke did a neat little trick before bringing the lightsaber down on his head. otherwise we wouldn't have got this awesome moment. Anyway, as if on cue, Yord decides to reappear at just the right time to save Blue. They tussle for a little bit, whilst the other Jedi wait for their lightsabers to reignite, and Yord gets his leg sliced. Their sabers eventually reignite, and then receding hairline decides to spawn back in. He would have been really helpful when Yord and the Master were having a moment. A cheeky little stab in the back would have been good. Anyway, he's clearly useless, so the other two Jedi come back in to help. Big Bloke goes for some style points and completely misses, then receives some sweet chin music, after which he forgets to defend himself and gets sliced. Blue then takes a massive swing at absolutely nothing, swings and misses again, before finally getting put out of her misery. And then this idiot, who must have just been standing off to the side for the last 7 seconds doing nothing, gets force-pulled into a Jedi shish kebab. Like everyone's been saying, absolutely phenomenal choreography. And that's only the first fight scene. Now, you may be wondering where Sol and Jecki were this whole time. Well, just like every other Jedi, they kind of just appear whenever the plot needs them to. Sol appears moments later when the Master throws a lightsaber after Osha, and Jecki appears when May tries to make a run for it, right in the area where the big battle was going down. So where the fuck was she? Regardless, the next big battle occurs between Sol and the Master. There's lots of big flashy swings and spins, all that good stuff that everyone drools over. It's not half bad, I won't lie. This is probably some of the better stuff from the episode. However, it still has its problems. There's a few shocking swings and stabs. Like, what is he aiming for here? And then to end this battle, after Sol's been kicked to the ground, he looks up to where the Master was, ignites his lightsaber to resume battle, and then all of a sudden is confused because the Master's disappeared. Even though he literally didn't break eye contact from the place he was standing. Why did you light your saber? There's no one there. Maybe he saw the camera and thought he'd look really cool. We then move on to a battle between Jecki and the Master. And of course, there's some mighty questionable stuff going on in this one. Firstly, rather than being all spooky and mysterious, my guy just runs head on into battle for this one. Some of that good flashy shit ensues, and it's so quick, you can't really see what's happening. Like how in this moment, the Master hits Jecki's saber, then brings it all the way around to hit her lightsaber again, instead of hitting her. Then in this moment, after hitting each other, the Master seems to be somewhat stunned, and instead of just turning around and hitting him, Jecki decides to do some parkour.
Parkour!
When her lightsaber is out of order, she's forced to use Kelnaka's, and whilst their sabers are locked, she waits for hers to reignite. If only the Master had a secret hidden little lightsaber dagger, that'd be real handy right about now. But instead, he just kind of stands there and lets this all happen. There's some more quick flashy swordplay, some blatantly shocking misses, a lot of hits that are directed at the lightsabers rather than the bodies, one specific shot from a lightsaber that seems to hit the Master's arm but doesn't short out the lightsaber, some more unnecessarily pointless spins before the Master decides he's had enough and goes after May. Alright then. He successfully finds her, but conveniently so does Sol at the same time. And so another battle ensues. Sol comes in for a shot which he decides to direct at the Master's lightsaber rather than his open body. Meanwhile, Jecki does some more awesome spin moves for no reason. She does, however, manage to interlock her saber with the Master, leaving him open for a free shot from Sol, who decides to kick him. There's some more swings and some more tricks. Sol does this nice one here. Look how many spins he does. They lock their sabers, leaving a wide open free shot for Jecki to finish him, or at least immobilize him, to which she also decides to kick him. What the fuck are they teaching at the academy? We then have this long shot of the battle, with Jecki once again swinging at nothing. And then Sol does his own sort of rendition. The Master manages to inhibit his lightsaber, but luckily he's capable of blocking him with his elbow. He then proceeds to fistfight him, whilst the Master is still holding his lightsaber, which he just refuses to utilize. That is, of course, until he does a massively pointless swing, which misses by a mile. Where's Jecki at this point? Who fucking knows? Oh wait, no, she just got her cue to jump back in. And she's back, with more big swings and misses, which look even more impressive because they decided to speed up this shot, so everything is super quick, and so you can't actually see that they're both just wildly swinging their sabers, making minimal contact. Finally, she connects, hitting his lightsaber down, which for some reason means he can't use it anymore, and so he just lets himself get elbowed in the face twice, so hard it knocks his helmet off. He pulls out his little saber, which would have been handy at many points throughout this entire episode, and decides he's had enough of Jackie. And where was Sol during all this?
No!
Just watching on as a good Jedi Master would, whilst his Padawan battles what seems to be a Sith who's already wiped out 5 other Jedi. Now that's about it for the fight choreography, besides of course Yord getting his neck snapped. If you haven't caught on yet, the choreography is horror throughout, but most of it's hidden by lots of pointless swinging and twirling, tons of trees, and sweeping camera movements, which makes you think the battle is intense, when in reality, characters are just standing to the side, twirling their lightsaber until it's their turn, going for blows in the air or to the side. Not to mention the fact that the Force is barely used within these fights, not towards the opponent or by using the environment around them. They just hack at each other, over and over again. It's embarrassingly bad, and it isn't the only abysmal thing about this episode. Not only is the Master super cool and edgy, he's also super sexy. Now, to be fair, Manny Jacinto perhaps gives one of the better performances in this show. The contrast between Kymir and the Master is actually noticeable and commendable, unlike some other performances in this show. It's just a shame that every single one of his lines is incredibly on the nose and stupidly cryptic, purely to keep the audience in suspense.
His mind is twisted by darkness.
I've accepted my darkness. What have you done with yours?
Clearly Sol has some kind of dark past, but why are you beating around the bush? Naturally, there will be some kind of reveal at a later stage, so people keep watching. But like, who gives a shit? As for his reveal, they tried to play it off like some big surprise.
You. Surprise.
But realistically, who the fuck else was it going to be? And then there's his character motivation.
What do you want?
The freedom to wield my power the way I like, without having to answer to Jedi like you.
My guy simply just wants to be allowed to murder with no consequences, and he wants a little apprentice to help him out. They couldn't have thought of something a bit deeper? Something other than a bad guy who likes to be bad for the sake of being bad. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, and there will be more explained in these next few episodes. But as for now, he's pretty one-dimensional. In saying that, we do know his one weakness. It kind of reminds me of something else. On top of the shit choreography and edgy villain, there's so much other brain-dead stuff within this episode. Like the rest of the show, the dialogue is appalling, and this episode hit us with some absolute banger lines.
You carry a Jedi weapon. But you are no Jedi.
Thanks, Sol. Really cool. I wasn't entirely sure, but I appreciate the clarification.
Jackie is a Jedi. She can take care of herself.
You just witnessed the Master kill 5 Jedi, and Jackie is a Padawan. What the fuck are you on about?
I love you.
I often tell my screwdriver, pocket knife, and flashlight that I love them as well.
He's gonna kill them. He's gonna kill them all.
What? No way! Why does Yord act surprised here? And more importantly, why does he listen to her? They should be getting back to the ship and alerting the council. But for some reason, Yord throws out the rulebook for this one and charges back into battle. What a Chad. And then don't even get me started on May. Never have I known a character to flip-flop so much. Wants to kill the Jedi and get revenge, then wants to help her sister, then wants to kill Sol once her sister tries to arrest her for killing the Jedi.
What the fuck?
The show and Star Wars is a mess, and it's only going to get worse from here. This is meant to be the best episode so far, and it's a fucking disaster. Let's just say, I can't wait for the next 3.